Hey folks, before we go in the sauce shed, I'm going to start what I used to do. We're going to do a subscriber shout out. I'd like to thank Keys Schroeder, my friend from the Netherlands, Shane Clark, and Rich Healy. Thank you guys for always tuning in your support. Shane, thank you for so much help with the yodel. Keys, thank you for talking as well about the wood stove. So again, really appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching, and let's get right in. Welcome back here, folks. We are in the wood shed here with the wood stove here, and life is good out here. Let me show you guys where we're at. We're still working on it, but we have all of our tools over here, skill saws, things like that, screw hammers, tool belts, all in bins. We're still cleaning up. That's an extra piece of chimney I got to find a home for. We obviously have the wood stove here, and then we have our bench here, and then we built these primitive shelves here for our saws. We got our saws away obviously from the stove here. And then we have our bandsaw, chop saw, and table saw here. But needless to say, folks, it is warm in here, it is comfortable in here, but we're gonna do some improvements here to make life a lot more comfortable here in the wood shed. So let me show you the issue. Well, this is nothing I did. This is how the shed is. This is a non-insulated 12 by 14 shed. We have a Yodel F100 here, which is rated for like 10 times the size of this as far as heat output. So needless to say, it works good. It's comfortable in here. However, it hasn't been below like 20 degrees out when we've had a fire. It's been hovering right around 30. So when it gets really, really cold, like January, February, we're already in January. Wow, time flies. But like late January, February, I want to be toasty warm in here. And as you can see, we got light coming through. So that's how this shed is framed. And also our door here. We have quite the gap between our door here. So we're going to just address a couple of those things where we're losing heat. Again, this is a non-insulated work shed, but it's a place we spend a lot of time. So needless to say, I'm not worried about wood consumption. I'm just worried about the time it takes to heat up. So what I've been doing is I've been coming out here, starting a fire, getting it going, closing the door, going, dropping the kids off, doing whatever I need to do, coming back out here like 45 minutes later. It's pretty warm, it's comfortable. So, but today we're gonna go ahead and try to cut some boards to seal off this peak here. These are open rafters, the way the shed was designed. So I think what we're gonna do is we're just gonna we're gonna rip some I have a ton of 2x12s or 2x6s. We are just gonna rip. What I wanna do, and this is the issue, is we're just gonna rip some boards to kind of put in here. This is an air gap. There's the outside right here. So obviously we're producing heat with our stove here, but needless to say, we're losing some heat out of this, out of each peak of this window here. So I'm thinking if we can just literally rip at the correct angle, a 2x6, or we have a bunch of scrap lumber that we're going to use. If we could just kind of block this in here just to keep some of the heat in, I think it'll make some serious improvements here as far as heat retention. So let's go ahead and measure, rip some pieces, and see what we can. So we got a plethora of these 2x10s. So I'm thinking if we set up our table saw in the middle and we cut whatever that angle is, we got to cut a scrap piece here to see what that angle is on the roof. I think we can utilize, I have like 2 dozen of these. I got these from the wood dumpster, so it worked out absolutely perfect. So let's set our skill saw up. I don't know, let's try a 45 degree. I don't think it's a 45 degree. Actually, let me see with the, see if I can figure it out with the square. Let me see if I take it up here with the square here. So that would be 45 degree. If I do this, it's definitely not, obviously it's not a 45. This is a 45 here. Oh, I'm so rusty on all my square stuff. Maybe 35 degrees? Is that how you use the square? Maybe. I don't know. It's not 45. 45 is that. It's definitely a little bit more religious than that. I know it's not a 45 degree angle, so why don't we go ahead and let's set this at, let's try a scrap piece at 30 and see if that fits. Yeah, we'll do 30. To leave me a comment about my table saw skills. It'll only help the algorithm here. So we have our piece cut at 30 here. All right, so let's see if we're onto something here. This is our piece. I think, oh yeah, I think that angle is gonna work out nice. 30 degrees, that looks pretty level. I think that'll work. This is our test cut to see our angle. So let's see here how big of a piece we need now. All right, so now that we pretty confident we know our angle, this is probably right where we want it. So from the angle would be, we can come in a little bit. I don't want to waste 4 7/8, just about 5 inches. We'll keep flush with the shiplap. Yeah, let's try that. 4 7/8 to the outside angle. All right, so here's our piece, 4 7/8, cut to a 30-degree miter. This is the 4 7/8 side. We're gonna have to obviously cut each one specific, but let's see how that's a little bit fat. Let me just trim it real quick. I think we should be all right, quick little trim. Oh yeah, folks, that looks good. That angle seems right. I think we can take a little bit off. It is a little bit, it's not the plumbest as my square, and of course my square is not in here, but if we took our pencil here and laid it against our shiplap, yeah, I think if we take a hair off 4 7/8, so probably 4, probably 4 1/2 would be good. Let's rip this to 4 1/2. Okay, this is 4 1/2 now. Yeah, I like that. That fits a lot better. Yeah, that looks good too. Obviously, some of our rafters aren't the squarest, but I mean, man, I could feel the cold, obviously, but this will help a bit. For sure. So painstakingly, each one is going to be a little bit different. Let's go ahead and rip a bunch of production boards here with the correct angle, and then we'll do 4 1/2 by 30 degrees, and then we'll cut them to fit, and that should help. It's only the 2 sides here. It's not a lot of boards, so let's go. That's what it looks like on the inside here. Let's go see how it looks on the outside. I don't know how well you can see, but that's almost a perfect angled cut to help keep that heat in, keep the cold out. Cut that second one. It looks pretty good, folks. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a handful left. And then we should get a little bit more heat here in the woodshed. Retain a little bit more heat by sealing off our rafters here. In the summertime, I don't even have to screw these down. I can really just knock them out in the summertime, let the shed breathe. But for the wintertime, if I want to keep some heat in, just kind of pop them in there. They're tight to fit. I can just knock them out in the spring, so I won't even screw those in there. Perfect. Maybe the ones, you know what? Cancel that. I'm going to screw and secure the ones around the stove because I don't want anything falling near or on the stove. But the rest of these here are fine to just kind of be snug fit. So we'll screw the 3 over there. And then we'll just knock in the rest of those in. It should keep some heat in. All right, folks, so there you have it. We have all of the roof rafters sealed, donezo, complete, both sides. Again, they're just pounded in there. They're not even nailed. In summertime, you know, when it's hot out, we can knock them out. Dad and I also did, I don't know if you saw it or not, but Dad and I have been working. Say hi, Dad.
Hello, everyone.
We've been, Dad had this great idea to have this 1/2-inch piece of board here, so when we shut our door here, you know, we have our latch here, so coming and going in the wintertime, we only have to open one door, which is nice. And if obviously we want to get equipment in here, we can open both doors. So yeah, it works out nice. So we sealed up the shed. The stove is burnt out now because Dad and I have been working out in the woods. You'll see that probably in the next video. But the shed is retaining heat pretty good. Not gonna lie, it's nice and comfy. So thanks, Dad. Thank you, Dad, for coming out and helping out, giving me the idea. And yeah, needless to say, folks, that's all I got for you today. So thanks for watching. God bless. Stay tuned. Dad and I are going to, well, we already were out there, but next video you see, Dad and I will be out cutting wood out in the woods. So not a bad day. Always staying busy around here. So God bless. Thanks for watching. Like I always say, we will see you guys out in the woods. Goodbye, Dad.
See you later, guys. See you soon.